Greetings, YouTube. Elaine Unleashed back at you from right here at the Green Thumb Garden Channel here in Grow Zone 8B right here in Tifton, Georgia. And in this evening's video, YouTube, we're going to bring you guys along with us back out to our 4-foot by 8-foot Hugo Country garden planter that we did indeed name Sweet Baby Red, as suggested by our dear friend, Mrs. Sharon Harris out of Tallahassee, Florida. And Mrs. Sharon Harris, my dear friend, things are indeed looking well in your planter, out there with your herb garden. I want to spin this camera around for you right now, honey, and take you out to your planter and show you exactly what is indeed going on with your herb garden at Sweet Baby Red. Take a look at this, YouTube. Indeed, YouTube, indeed, here we are approaching Mrs. Sharon Harris's 4-foot by 8-foot Hugo Country garden planter, Sweet Baby Red, in her herb garden that she planted here about 2 months ago, YouTube. And oh my God, when I tell you guys, so much has changed in this planter within the last 2 months. You guys are not going to believe your eyes when I lift this camera up, but take a look at this, YouTube. Bam. Take a look at these herbs, YouTube. Take a look at these herbs. And give you guys our new subscribers who have just recently followed our channel and run down on what we have in here. Mrs. Sharon Harris's Hugo Country garden planter, Sweet Baby Red. Here in this corner, we have our rosemary, and as you guys can see, it has begun to spread out towards the center of this planter. Up in this corner, we've harvested so much of this rosemary at this point. It's ridiculous, and it's still growing like wildfire. Here in this corner, we have indeed our lemon thyme. As you can see the sign down there, YouTube. It was a tiny plant. We planted it here roughly about 2 months ago. We've harvested this lemon thyme 6, maybe 7 times since we planted it here, and it continues to grow like wildfire here, YouTube. Next up is our flat Italian parsley. This thing was so huge here, it continues to grow at a geometric rate. It's not funny, YouTube. We've harvested this parsley, I think, 3 times now. Every time we harvest it, as you can see those stems down there at the base of this plant, we hike it all the way back down to the soil, minus a few little sprigs in the middle, and it continuously comes back. I think we've harvested, again, that parsley 3, maybe 4 times now. And again, it's looking fantastically well here at Sweet Baby Red. Next up, YouTube, guys, if you've never ever grown sweet mint before and you don't know anything about mint, let me just tell you this. Mint will take over the entire world if you allow it to. This mint, YouTube, has taken over almost a fourth of this planter alone on itself. We hacked this mint down to the point where it was barely even visible that there was a plant growing here in this location. And in just a week and a half, YouTube, just a week and a half, this is what has happened with our sweet mint. Take a look at this, YouTube. Bam. Can you guys see that? And YouTube, I'm not joking. I'm going to show you guys that I was not kidding when I say we hacked this mint all the way down to virtually nothing. You guys look down in there, you see all of those cuttings, all of those dry stem ends. We hacked this mint all the way down to the ground, YouTube, to the ground, only about a week ago. And as you can see, this mint is already back. And not only did it come back, it came back and started growing faster than it's ever grown here in this planter. As you can see, it's all the way down there in that corner. This mint was actually planted in the middle of this planter when we originally planted it. It's stretching towards that corner, towards the center of this planter, and back towards our lemon thyme. We're going to have to come back out here within the next day or so, hack this mint back again, get it inside and dry it out in our usual manner, get it ground up and jarred up. But again, YouTube, again, our sweet mint is growing out of control right here, right now at Sweet Baby Red. Next up, indeed, YouTube, we transplanted our pineapple sage from that small planter we had on our front porch over there out to the Sweet Baby Red. We planted it in the spots where we originally had our confetti cilantro. That confetti cilantro actually did very well for us. It went to seed. We harvested those. If you guys don't know, the seeds from cilantro is actually coriander, if you don't know that. So we harvested those seeds. Now we have both cilantro in the house drying and those coriander seeds in the house drying also, YouTube. But this is indeed what our pineapple sage currently looks like right here, right now at Sweet Baby Red. Take a look at this, YouTube. Bam. Isn't she lovely? Isn't she lovely? This girl too has been hacked back on numerous occasions, and she just continuously puts on new growth. If you look down there in those centers, you can see where we hacked those centers out down in there a while back, and she just took off. Every time we cut those centers off, she just came back with a benches here, YouTube, and spread out even more here in our front yard garden. Instead of grow area right here at Sweet Baby Red. And we are indeed pleased by what we see currently right here, right now, in our pineapple sage right here at Sweet Baby Red. Next up, indeed, YouTube, next up indeed here on the right side of Sweet Baby Red, we have our 3 basil plants. If you haven't been following the video series on this planter, you don't know that when we originally planted our herb garden here at Sweet Baby Red, we had 3 basil plants that came in one pot. We had to separate their root ball, and we almost lost all 3 plants. All these plants died back down to virtually nothing, YouTube, virtually nothing. About a month ago, they started to make a comeback. We came out here, we trimmed them back, we pruned them back a whole lot. We cut the centers out of them so that they would actually bush out more. And this is what indeed has happened since our last video update here at Sweet Baby Red with our basil. Take a look at this, YouTube. Bam. Aren't they lovely, YouTube? Aren't they lovely? And indeed, YouTube, again, we virtually lost our basil when we first planted it here, YouTube, but now we have some gigantic basil plants in here. And this basil, YouTube, we've harvested every bit of 10 times. The more we harvest it, the more it spreads out, and the faster it seems to grow here in this planter here, YouTube. We couldn't possibly be more excited about what we see right now in our sweet basil plants here at Sweet Baby Red. Next up, to the other side of Sweet Baby Red to show you this. If you haven't been following the video series here on Sweet Baby Red, you don't know that in this planter, we originally planted 1 celebrity hybrid determinate tomato here on the right hand side of Sweet Baby Red, and we also planted 1 Bunny Centennial 100th anniversary determinate tomato plant here at Sweet Baby Red. Well, YouTube, these plants were tiny during our last video update. They've grown at a geometric rate, and YouTube, indeed, we have tomatoes on the vine here at Sweet Baby Red. And not only do we have tomatoes on the vine, YouTube, we have tomatoes on the vine in various stages of development and ripeness. And we have an abundance of blossoms here on both of our tomato plants here at Sweet Baby Red. I'm gonna lift this camera up right now and show you guys what our tomato plants look like. Take you in for a couple of close-ups and show you our tomatoes and our abundance of blossoms here at Sweet Baby Red. But YouTube, take a look at this. Bam. Can you guys see how much growth our celebrity hybrid tomato plant has put on in about the past 2 months here at Sweet Baby Red? We were lucky that our tomato plants didn't suffer that much damage during our recent hailstorm here. That hailstorm actually dropped a lot of hail and a ton of rain here on our plants, and our tomato plants just really took off. And YouTube, we're going to take you guys in for some close-ups of our fruit here. Show you guys what we have going on. You guys see those tomatoes back in there, YouTube? I'm trying to hold this foliage back out of the way. We have some nice sized developing tomatoes here on our plants at Sweet Baby Red. And again, this is our celebrity hybrid determinate tomato plant. And YouTube, not only is it loaded with tomatoes in various stages of development here, YouTube, it's loaded with an abundance of blossoms. I'll take you guys in for some close-up of some of these blossoms, YouTube, and everywhere on this plant, YouTube, there's either blossoms or developing tomatoes where blossoms previously were. See all these blossoms, guys? There's the blossoms everywhere, literally everywhere on these plants, or again, tomatoes in the location where those blossoms used to be. We can't possibly be more pleased by what we see right here, right now at the Green Thumb Gardening Channel with our celebrity hybrid determinate tomato plant. But next up, right beside it, YouTube, is indeed our Bunny Centennial 100th Anniversary determinate tomato plant. Quite a gangly plant, currently almost a foot taller than our celebrity hybrid tomato plant. And this plant too, YouTube, this plant too is indeed loaded, YouTube, loaded with tomatoes in various stages of development and loaded with blossoms. Can you see the abundance of blossoms on this particular tomato plant, YouTube? And I tell you, blossoms everywhere on this Bunny Centennial tomato plant. And not only that, YouTube, not only that, we have tomatoes again on the vine, YouTube. We have tomatoes on the vine. We have tomatoes on the vine in various stages of ripeness and development here. All the way around this plant, YouTube. Same thing, we have tomatoes or either blossoms everywhere on this plant, YouTube. And we're super excited to see how well both our Bunny Centennial 100th Anniversary tomato plant, determinate tomato plant, and our celebrity hybrid tomato plant are currently doing right here, right now at Sweet Baby Red. Next up, YouTube, is our sweet banana plant here. We didn't bring you guys along for the harvest on this, but as you can see, YouTube, we've already harvested one huge banana, sweet banana pepper from this plant, and it was quite delicious. Added quite the burst of flavor to a salad that we actually used that tomato plant, that pepper in. And since that harvest, YouTube, this plant has taken on a lot of new growth, begin to blossom out again. And we're super excited about what we see going on. Even down here at the bottom, we're seriously considering topping this pepper plant, rooting these two, creating two more of this same plant, and allowing this plant to bush back out during the summer months and fall months here at the Green Thumb Gardening Channel. Haven't quite decided to do that yet, but we're seriously considering doing that. Next up is our yellow bell pepper plant, which we almost completely lost. This bell pepper plant has suffered the entire time it's been here in this planter. It suffered from some transplant shock when we first planted it here. It died way back. It had some root development issues, but here, about the last week, maybe a week and a half, it's really beginning to veg back out for us and develop some pretty deep green leaves here in the center. So we're a little more optimistic about what we're gonna the results are gonna be with our yellow sweet bell pepper here at Sweet Baby Red. At any rate, YouTube, at any rate, this is indeed what our herb garden at Sweet Baby Red currently looks like right here, right now, at the Green Thumb Gardening Channel here in Grow Zone 8B, Tifton, Georgia. Thanks for watching, and if indeed you currently are watching this video and not already subscribed to the Green Thumb Gardening Channel, please take this moment to put that subscribe button beneath this video, that like button, the notification button, and be sure to share this video with your friends and family as well. Yeah, growing herbs in our 4-foot by 8-foot Hugelculture garden planter, Sweet Baby Red. This is Sharon Harris. This one's for you, dear. Thanks for watching, YouTube.
Check me out. Check me out. Check me out. Check